Welcome back to Crypto Wealthy channel, guys. In today's episode we are going to discuss about the Bitcoin. As I promised, recent price drop that we had, we again revisited $29,700, and I think we have some interesting development to discuss, and we're gonna mention also what we discussed in the previous videos in order to catch up with this situation over here right now. So before we start, I just want you to check out this guy, Alessio Rastani, and check out the last video over here because he has some very interesting statistics and analogy. So make sure to check out the last video. I think you're going to love it. You need to watch this guy because Alessio is one of the very nice professionals, and I'm following him very closely when he has something to say about the Bitcoin and the markets in general. Now let's see what actually happened on the market. If you remember this over here video, we discussed about some 4-hourly chart bullish divergences, and we discussed about the markets, what could potentially happen, and we discussed about these level of support. So let me just remind you, so it is this level of support which is going to be very important, we said in those videos, and also this one over here. The reason why we have two of them is because someone is drawing this directly on the candles, which is not wrong, don't get me wrong. And as well, we have this over here line that you can see, blue one, that is connecting actually the wicks where the Bitcoin wicked few times. And if we go back into the history just a little bit over here, you can see that the Bitcoin did that few times and revisited those weeks before rally to the upside. It was good analogy for the uptrend, but unfortunately didn't happen, ladies and gentlemen. And as you can see, that was the market structure that is holding the Bitcoin into some sort of an uptrend. And right now we are in a bear market, but this bear market is actually reflecting the correction. So it's not the bear market that you're expecting for years. We need to see this structure by my calculations failing, as you can see, in order to see something much worse. We have as well the BLX chart, and you can see that the Bitcoin overall is for sure into the one big uptrend. You can see that we have that I actually did pretty good drawing over here when it comes to the Elliott theory. So those are pretty much so far correct waves by my calculation. But let's get back to our charts over here. So what you can see is on the weekly chart, I just want to mention very quickly, nothing special is happening except that we retested one of the important level of supports, and so far we are bouncing very nicely, I must say. Maybe it's too early to discuss about that, but we are bouncing very nicely because you can see this is the weekly chart, and over here we have a long wicks, ladies and gentlemen, on these bounces, which means that the bulls are ready to defend this level so far. And as you can see right now, the last candle is bouncing very nicely. You can see that by going on the daily chart, and you can see a clear bounce. So after 5 days of negativity over here, after we decline from these levels, few levels, this wasn't just one level, it was few levels. It was obvious that most probably we're going to decline since we didn't break 20 EMA and the previous support, which is the tunnel support of this tunnel, floor of this tunnel. We actually went to the downside, and we said in that last video about the Bitcoin that we're gonna have two level of supports, which one of them is over here this week, which is 34.3, as you can see, 34.3, this orange one, and as well this pink one or red one, 32.9 on $33,000 approximately. What Bitcoin did, if we go back to the 4-hourly chart, you can see that clearly we had some level of support on that level, so it was significant. And this grayed area, as you can see, the red one, those are the clusters of candles as some sort of a support that didn't hold, and you can see that we actually went a little bit above it. We had some support maybe 2 days, and after that we dropped to the next one that I just told you, and then we continued to the next one. We didn't hold over here a lot at all, and we just break through it because the momentum took its place. Now, interesting thing is that we have oversold situation on the 4-hourly chart on the RSI. That's good because we are most probably going to see some sort of a bounce over here, and we are coming back to the averages. I told you in many videos that averages are usually acting like a some sort of a magnet for the price, because the price is going to come back and retest it, or it's going to chop it over here. That's the average of the price, and the price is usually hovering around those moving averages, not on the 20 EMA on the daily chart, 4-hourly chart, 1-hourly chart, but also SMAs as a 20, as a 50, as a 100 and 200 simple moving averages. In this case scenario, we are going to use 20 EMA, as you can see, and so far we are bouncing, but that's just the bounce to retest some level of support or some level of resistance, sorry. But if we come back to the 1 daily chart, what you can see is that we got way too far away from the 20 exponential moving average, and that's actually good, because we are going to bounce until we retest it, or at least we're going to hover around this area. We're gonna make some sort of a tunnel until the average catch up with us, and then we're gonna see what the Bitcoin is going to do in that area. So far, I truly do believe that we are way oversold. Even the daily chart is telling you that we are in oversold situation over here, below 14 daily average on the RSI, and we are going to see some sort of a bounce as we are seeing it right now. And I do truly believe that the next thing that Bitcoin is going to do is retesting probably this level as it did in the direct retest today, and gonna wait for the moving average to come along and to see what is going to happen. I also do believe that this zone over here of support is very strong, and psychologically is very important for the traders, and for especially those that are long into the market. It seems like that this dump over here looks like the dumb money. I must call it dumb money, the people who just joined the cryptocurrency space, and by just I mean into this rally over here. I do believe that they right now are panicking, which is totally fine. They saw that the Bitcoin is not going to start rally from here, and they're just selling, which is normal if you're new and you don't understand technical analysis, or let's say you don't understand how the markets are working. Many of us don't. And it's very good to actually listen and see what the price is doing, so you will know the news. You shouldn't watch the news to see where the price is going, because news are usually lagging behind the price, and that could cost you some money. So it's always good to watch the price, what the price is telling you, how the price is doing, and then you could potentially see in which direction price have a chances to go, bigger chances to go in. So that's the takeaway. This is all about the probabilities and the possibilities, and not the certainties. That is something that you need to understand, and also that's something that you're gonna learn also from Alessio Rastani, the guy I told you to watch in the beginning. Let's get back on the BLX chart and discuss about the Elliott theory to see on a bigger picture where we are right now and where we are going, because it's really very important to implement Elliott theory, to see where you are, to see where you are standing, in order to know where the potentially price will go. So that's very important. So it's all about probabilities and possibilities, not certainties. Remember that. So this is the higher probability chart for the Bitcoin. Alessio even discussed about this. This was his count, and it does look legit. This is the full chart of the Bitcoin since 2010. Of course, there is a 2009 also, I think, but there is no chart for it. So this is the maximum that we have. And as you can see, we have the first biggest wave that we can find. So this is the bigger picture, right? This is a monthly chart. Then you have the second biggest wave, right? Then right now the third, fourth and the fifth is up, but we're not gonna discuss about fourth and fifth right now, because this over here corrective wave is gonna take few years. Correction is gonna be painful, but right now we are in the third biggest wave. And you know that the Elliott theory is representing some sort of a map or compass where the price is. So that's the important stuff. Usually Elliott theory has 3 impulsive waves, which is the first, as you can see. You have the third biggest one and the fifth to the upside. And also you have 2 corrective ones, which is the second one, ABC correction, and also ABC correction in the fourth wave over here. So where we are right now, most probably we are into the end of the third biggest wave, and that end is gonna take most probably a year or so before we see the end. So this is gonna take time before we see the end. So also a very important thing that we need to understand is also into this third biggest wave we have 5 subwaves. So we have 5 subwaves, and into those subwaves you have little subwaves, and into those subwaves you have little subwaves, and so on and so on. As you can see, some of them are already drawn. However, these are the third row subwaves, let's say like that. So let's draw the second one, so you can see into this third wave. So this third wave should be something like this. As you can see, this is the first, then you have the second, then you have the third over here, fourth, and the fifth most probably, and every single one of those impulsive waves have already drawn, as you can see, impulsive and corrective waves, subwaves into those subwaves. Okay, I hope I didn't confuse you. So you can see those subwaves, and they are important because we're gonna determine where we are standing right now. All right, if you ask me, we are into the fifth subwave, into the third biggest wave, which is also setting us into the most probably fifth subwave of that fifth subwave into the biggest third wave. All right, so you have the wave, okay, which is this red, as you can see, red third. Then you have subwave, okay, into this wave, and then you have subwave into this subwave, which means this fifth subwave is actually this one over here. The second one I draw you, and it is into this third one, right? First, second, third, fourth, fifth, so that's the second. All right, and then you have the biggest wave on the bigger scale of picture, and that's the wave over here, the first one, the biggest one. Then the subwave, as I told you, 1, 2, 3, 5, and then you have subwaves, little ones, into that second one, which is those green ones that I draw over here. Right, so that's definitely something to take in consideration. Long story short, let's see where we are right now. We are right now into the third biggest wave. All right, this one, into the fifth subwave of that third biggest wave, and most probably right now at this current state into the fourth subwave of this subwave and fifth of this third biggest wave. So here we are right now. Right, when we finished this fourth one, which is over here, as you can see, corrective wave, where we are right now, the next thing we should hit is the fifth subwave. So this 4 is not going to be longer 4, let's just delete it. It's going to be fifth wave, which is going to take a few months. All right, and then when we hit the fifth wave, only then this third one is becoming the fourth one, the biggest wave, this one, that is gonna last most probably a few years. All right, now that's the conclusion. So right now we are into the fourth subwave of the third biggest impulsive wave on Elliott theory on Bitcoin chart. So if we zoom in on the weekly chart, what you can see over here on the clearer chart, you can see that this over here was first subwave, then you have the second subwave, which is corrective wave, then you have the third biggest impulsive wave, and this third impulsive wave is also consistent, as we said, of the 5 subwaves of these subwaves. All right, and how do we know that? Well, let's count, ladies and gentlemen. Over here you have the first, second, then you have the third, then the fourth, then the 5, and that completes this third subwave into the subwave of the wave. Okay, so I know it's a little bit hard maybe to understand, but as you're practicing the Elliott theory, you're gonna get it. Now the point is where we are right now. Now, as I told you, we are into the fourth subwave, and what now? What is expectancy for the Bitcoin? Why we didn't bottom where we expected? Well, let me explain you that I have some theory which is very valid and very sound, and it's nothing way too big, but it's logical. The first thing we thought that is gonna happen is usually those correction, ABC correction. As you can see, you can even find them here. Usually they go something like this. You can see this is the A, this is the B, and this is the C, and this completes it. Okay, and then you have 5 move to the upside. Okay, now here the problem is we were expecting it's no wrong to actually think that because the Bitcoin was going into that direction, you were expecting that to happen. However, it was the lower probability scenario, which means this would be A, this would B, and over here we would have C, which means after ABC correction you're gonna see 5-wave move to the upside, which means, as you can see over here, A, or let's actually take it, and you can see this would be the first. Then if we didn't break these important levels over here that we discussed in the previous videos, as we discussed in this video in the beginning, then this would be the second one, right? Then you would have the third one, fourth, and the fifth to the upside, doesn't matter. However, that didn't happen because in the second waves you cannot break 100% of the first wave. We discussed on this channel about that a lot, and you need to understand that. So this over here was exceeded first wave, which actually wasn't the first wave. So what was it? Well, as you can see, the count was not right, as I told you in the beginning. So you're gonna take ABC correction, and what you're gonna do, you're gonna draw it like this as a, then you're gonna draw as a B, and then you're gonna draw it as a C. So now there is a bigger chance, bigger probability scenario is that the C wave is the wave that we are finding ourselves right now in. So why? Because the C wave managed to kill this low, so we destroy this low over here, which says to us that this is no longer first wave and the second wave or subwave into the next uptrend. It's actually continuation of this ABC correction, this big ABC correction, unfortunately. What does that mean? Well, that means that we are most probably going to see a little bit prolonged correction. It is a bear market. It's not the bear market that you are thinking it is, all right? But it is definitely some type of a bear market, and most probably it's gonna last. Already it's lasting, I think, actually, let's see, from November. So from November all the way till now, we have 7 months, and there are probabilities that we're gonna see a few more weeks of this downtrend taking place before we're gonna see some sort of a slow uptrend and building up. And that's also something that we discussed on the beginning of this video, how we are seeing the bounces over here because Bitcoin is reacting on this very important level of support, this green one that you can see that is being retested many times. That's actually not good, but however, it does respond very well on the price as it did over here back into the June last year, right? Now, I don't want to leave you with all the bearishness or long-term bullishness on the chart. Let me give you some bullishness that is actually forming. It's still forming, it's not formed yet, but however, it does look great. It's still going into the great direction. So what I mean by this is if we zoom in and go back to the 20th October and as well 10th November as an example, you can see that the Bitcoin made over here bearish divergences. Usually they are forming onto the top of the market, or let's say on the bottom of the market if it's bullish divergences. So you can see over here we are seeing higher high, lower high, and a higher high, and it's on daily chart. This is very important. When you see this signal on the daily chart, usually it's gonna scream for correction or a dump, and you can see that the RSI made one high but lower high over here where we saw the high on the price, which means price is showing us something that the strength of the market is not, and this was a big red flag that the market is gonna correct. As you can see, we are still into that correction. So that was indicating pretty early dump. Imagine if you could see that on that time and sell it over here, that would be amazing. But however, you can see that right now at this very moment we are seeing over here one low, and we just made new low, or yesterday we made it, and over here we are seeing one high on the RSI, let's say low, but higher low on this side where we have lower low on the price. So that means we are seeing bullish divergences, and that this is indicating some sort of a bottom formation, because also it's on the bottom of this dump. This formed onto the bottom of this dump as the bearish ones formed onto the top. So clearly something is going on over here, and there is a potential that this could over here be the bottom. However, I would still wait a little bit more to see if RSI will make another low or not. What you want to see now is not the price. But actually the RSI, I would definitely observe the RSI. Let me just zoom in, and wouldn't let it from my eye to go below this over here. I wouldn't like to see this line. Let me just show you this line broken, or let's say this low over here broken. I would like to see this RSI correcting to the upside still, and that would be something bullish, and stay above this low. Okay, that would be something very bullish for the Bitcoin. So definitely observe that. It's not a joke. Definitely bearish and bullish divergence you don't want to ignore. On the 1 hourly, 2 hourly, 3 hourly, maybe even 4 hourly chart, yes, but the daily chart, weekly chart, you don't ignore them, because you see what they can cause. They can cause pretty good down. But there are many more examples, as you can see here. Look at this, and look what happened after that correction. So you have them, you cannot ignore them. I mean, look here, dump, and you have the push into the RSI, and look what happened after that. Again, divergences. So you don't want to ignore this what I just showed you. Okay, so this is something for the end of this video to take as a positivity, right? So the video took a little bit too long, but if you followed from the beginning, you understood what I had to say over here. And if you ask me, am I scared for this drop? I can tell you no, because I'm actually looking forward to the next steps and the next weeks of the Bitcoin, because right now there is a, if you ask me, bigger probability scenario played out, or let's say lower probability scenario, sorry, this was over here, the bigger probability scenario, lower probability scenario playing out right now, and maybe who knows, this is gonna be the bottom most probably, and we can see slowly and gradually going to the upside in the next few weeks, probably in the next month or a little bit more. However, that's the case for the Bitcoin, and that's my higher probability scenario for the Bitcoin. I truly don't believe that the Bitcoin is gonna break this level of support of structure. We're not gonna discuss about that right now, what could potentially happen if that happens. However, wait and see. But I'm going to make another video and update you on the Bitcoin for the new uptrend and for the new positive scenario that could potentially happen in the next few weeks, when we see how the Bitcoin is going to play out around over here on these levels right now, because right now we are trying to. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for watching. If you like this sort of content, let me know in the comment section down below. How do you feel about the markets right now? Hit that like, subscribe button, and until the next update, happy trading and goodbye.